Type 95 light tank, Kyugoshike Shinsha, is a light tank, developed and adopted by the Empire of Japan in the mid-1930s. The codename Hago * Type 95 light tank, Hago, and Hago vehicle are incorrect. The correct term is Hago. Igo refers to the Type 89 medium tank, and Rogo refers to the Type 95 heavy tank. As the most produced Japanese tank, with 2,378 units manufactured, it was active in World War II alongside the Type 97 medium tank Chiha vehicle, and is known as the representative light tank of the Japanese Army. Developed and adopted in the late 1920s, the Type 89 light tank, later the Type 89 medium tank, was Japan's first domestically produced mass-produced tank. Originally, it was developed as a 10-ton tank to align with global standards at that time, similar to the Vickers medium tank Mki 11.7T, that the Imperial Japanese Army sought to purchase from Britain, and the Vickers C-type medium tank 11.5T, that was imported as a reference. Due to modifications over time, its final weight increased to 11.8T, prompting a renaming to the Type 89 medium tank around the 9th year of Showa, 1934. And with the introduction of the diesel engine-equipped version in the 10th year of Showa, 1935, it began to be referred to as the on paper. It could travel at a maximum speed of 25 km per hour on good roads. This maximum speed was comparable to contemporary Western tanks, such as the Soviet T-18, the American T-1 medium tank, and the British Vickers medium tank Mk.2, and was even faster when compared to the French Renault types, Renault FT-17 light tank and NC-27 light tank, that the Army imported for research. The Japanese Army's tank units were primarily organized into tank regiments, with each tank regiment composed of 3 to 5 tank companies, each company having around 14 tanks. Typically, the first company was made up exclusively of Type 95 light tanks, while other companies were composed of Type 97 medium tanks. Additionally, the regimental headquarters and Type 97 medium tank companies also had 2 or 3 Type 95 light tanks assigned to them. The search regiments, formerly cavalry regiments, that served as the base for the tank regiments often consisted solely of the Type 95 light tank companies. Besides the tank regiments, there could also be tank troops possessed by divisions, where the Type 95 light tank was still the mainstay. This vehicle was developed in a context where other countries' tank design philosophies were becoming increasingly focused on anti-tank warfare, making it the first Japanese tank designed with considerations for anti-tank combat. However, its anti-tank capability was low, and it struggled in combat against enemy tanks. On the other hand, its mobility was excellent, and it performed reasonably well in battles against forces lacking substantial armored and anti-tank weaponry. In the Pacific War, Greater East Asia War, during the series of southern operations, particularly in the Battle of the Philippines, on December 22, 1941, the Japanese Type 95 light tank successfully repelled a platoon of 5 American M3 light tanks from the 192nd Tank Battalion, marking this encounter as the first tank battle for the United States in World War II. However, during the Battle of Burma on March 5, 1942, despite the Type 95 light tank landing several hits on British Indian Army's M3 light tanks, all attacks were deflected. The M3 light tank was developed based on the M2 light tank from the lessons learned in the French campaign, with a weight approximately twice that of the M2, 12.7 tons, which is heavier than the Type 89 medium tank. It featured heavy armor with a thickness of 38 mm at the front of the hull and 51 mm at the shield. This was armor that could not be penetrated even at muzzle velocity by the Type 94 37 mm tank gun. Moreover, the M3's 37mm gun was the most high-performance among the same caliber tank and anti-tank guns of the time, capable of penetrating the armor of the Type 95 light tank from the front at any distance within effective range. Ultimately, the Type 95 light tank found itself in a situation where it had to ram the M3 in response. On one hand, engine failures were rare, and it could withstand long-distance runs well, particularly during the Malaya campaign where it performed alongside the Type 97 medium tank in blitzkrieg tactics. Some vehicles even transitioned from the Malay Peninsula to Sumatra, enduring over 2,000 kilometers of travel. In the defensive-centered operations of the latter half of the war, due to the lack of successor vehicles and the value of armored forces, they were deployed to various battlefields up until the end of the war, including the Battle of Tarawa. In the Battle of Tarawa, there are instances where this vehicle and the Type 94 37mm gun may have destroyed American Marine Corps M4 medium tanks. During the Battle of Tarawa, the Type 95 light tank engaged the landing M4 medium tanks, evaded the first shot from an M4 medium tank, and fired its 37mm gun, resulting in a shell penetrating from the gun muzzle into the barrel of the M4 tank and destroying it. According to American records, the vehicle Charlie from Company C, 1st Tank Battalion, was destroyed by a 47mm anti-tank gun, but the Type 95 light tank and Type 94 37mm gun were deployed by the Japanese Navy's 3rd Special Base Force, responsible for defense at Tarawa, and the deployment of Type 147mm guns has not been confirmed. Additionally, there were instances of destroying M4 medium tanks. During the Battle of Polilliu, an M4 medium tank that had landed was engaged, and a shell fired by a Type 95 light tank lodged between the turret and body of the M4 medium tank, rendering the turret unable to rotate and destroying it. In the Battle of the Philippines, near the pass in Baguio on Luzon Island, a Type 95 light tank and an M4 medium tank encountered each other at close range, and the surprised crew of the M4 medium tank made a driving mistake and fell into a ravine. This incident is more of a traffic accident than a destruction. The Battle of Polilliu, the Battle of Saipan, the Battle of Iwo Jima, the Battle of Okinawa, and the Battle of Shumshu. On Iwo Jima, there were 12 of these tanks and 11 Type 97 medium tanks, new turret, deployed by the 26th Tank Regiment, regimental commander, Colonel Nishitake Kazukazu, but Colonel Nishitake initially planned to use the tanks as mobile forces. However, after careful consideration, they were used for ambush attacks as either mobile or fixed pillboxes. As mobile pillboxes, they were operated by digging the tanks into pre-constructed tank pits, while as fixed pillboxes, the tanks were either buried in the ground or the turrets were dismantled, cleverly concealed, and camouflaged so as to be unnoticeable from the air or ground. However, there are eyewitness accounts indicating that tank battles were actually taking place at close range, leaving the truth unclear. On Shumishu Island, the elite 11th Tank Regiment, regimental commander, Colonel Ikeda Suyo, was deployed with 25 of these tanks and 39 Type 97 medium tanks, new turret. After the Soviet landing, the regiment led an assault against the Soviet forces at Mount Shirane, successfully repelling them, and they also pushed back the Soviet troops on the northern slope of Mount Shirane. The Soviet army gathered 4 anti-tank guns and about 100 anti-tank rifles for a counterattack, which resulted in the destruction of Colonel Ikeda's command tank and 26 others. However, they came under fire from Japanese AAA units southeast of Mount Shirane, and with the arrival of reinforcements from the Independent Infantry Battalion 283, they retreated towards the landing point at Takeda Beach along with the remaining tanks. Additionally, these tanks were also used by the Navy's Marine Corps. During the New Guinea Campaign and the Battle of Rabaul from August to September 1942, the 5th Special Landing Force Tank Unit was equipped with 2 of these tanks. In the night attack on August 27, the performance of these tanks allowed them to break through the Australian Army's front line, but they were abandoned after being subjected to enemy counterattacks near the airstrip and becoming immobilized due to the mud.